NBS Frontline.
Welcome back from that last break, and we are right into the last segment of this evening's discussion. This is the Frontline on NBS television, and we are discussing the intended or the ordered or the directives rather of the announcement by the Honorable Minister of Internal Affairs to have the NGOs, some NGOs about 13 in number, investigated, and FIA going after them. No, the Honorable JJ talked about validation. The Honorable JJ, the Minister in charge of Internal Affairs. Honorable Leandro. My mouth. Honorable Leandro, yes. Going forward, do you think that the action by the FIA is an action that should be can we commend him to the FIA to continue with this investigation, or are we going to say that everybody must be followed? And should they be presenting their work in public for all of us to see that they are going after this, they are going after this? Is that how they should operate?
Yes, Charles. I think FIA also needs to be investigated. Because if you look at their actions, it is full of patchwork here and patchwork there. Looking at things, I think even Parliament should actually demand for FIA to appear before them. Because the way they have operated indicates that they are just hunting rats. Look at the other animals that are just out there. 90 billion was flown in here. Where is the 90 billion?
Which one?
There was some 90 billion that came to this country. You are very... So please don't panic. Don't panic. Don't panic. You see, we should have seen FIA proceeding with that.
You are saying they should have investigated.
Yeah, of course.
But don't you see, as a lawmaker, don't you see a problem? And I think one of you asked that question and you have not answered it. Don't you see a problem with, is it Section 3 or Section 7 that says it should run independent of any persons or... 22. Yes, Section 22. It should be independent, and that you people are actually saying that someone should be directing it, in other words.
That is why we need to review its performance. That is why we need to review their performance. We look at how they are performing really. They are completely in tangent with what they are supposed to be doing. You first wait for a whistle to be blown by some other referee with a red card somewhere, and then you start work. I think for us, we see that in this country, even if FIA is not there, there are wealth in this country that you do not even need to investigate them. Instead, the wealth are the ones declaring those that have generated them. They're all of them. Look at how money these days operates. A lot of money is not now going through the online, banking system. They're all being hidden in lands, in buildings, in everything else. Now, that is where we need to see the energy of FIA putting in to see outcome. But as far as we are doing now, I think money laundering is in full scale here. The NGOs that are being attacked are just very wrong targets. And I think we need to review the process. IGG, Nakalema in Entebbe, FIA, I think all this needs to be put together and we see, are they creating impact? Or what they are doing are just very diversionary and leaving the big fish all over swimming when Ugandans are seeing?
Way forward. On the issue of attempts to direct the FIA against the law that they are supposed to be independent.
Well, you know that Parliament, or rather members of Parliament, are trying to be everywhere. I don't think it is a good way to work for
They
members
are
of
your
parliament.
representatives.
Yes, they are my
Really?
representatives.
Well, why
Yes.
should we be?
They are
Yes,
your
no,
representatives.
of course, I know that Parliament as an institution and therefore members of Parliament have multiple roles, representing me, speaking for me, being a watchdog,
Yes.
being a legislature, appropriating budgets and so on. But I think sometimes Parliament spreads itself thin on the kind of things they're saying Financial Intelligence Authority is doing, going for small things, when they could be, Parliament could be concentrating on big issues. And it's surprising that the chairman of Bugisu Cooperative Society, who has been the chairman of PAC, Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, twice now, can say that they are coming after. PAC itself comes after. Money is eaten or money is diverted or not well spent. That's when Mr. Honorable Nandarama Fabi's PAC comes in.
No, the Auditor General.
The Auditor General. So those are all mechanisms to counter-check what the government generally is doing. Now, the issue should be, and which I associate myself with, that are we perhaps paying lip service to the things we say these institutions should do, and therefore we are going after the so-called small fish. But if we are going for the small fish, I would want a member of Parliament, especially if they are from opposition, who are those big fish that they have attempted to drag before committees of Parliament, or dragged before these watchdog institutions like Financial Intelligence Authority or the Inspectorate of Government and so on and so forth. Now, if they have not done, and they prefer to come on a show like this because it is easier to throw about people's names, because perhaps Odongto will not ask you for strict proof.
That's not our role.
Yes.
They should go to court for strict
yes,
proof.
yes. So they find it easier to do so here. So I say yes. Is fear going for small fish? I am not privy to the investigations. Now, what has come to the media as we speak is about the 13 NGOs. Now,
the 11 NGOs plus some organizations.
Yes. Now, Godba is saying that SEDU and democracy, DGF shouldn't be. I am not very familiar with the law. If is it the understanding of Godba to say that if Financial Intelligence Authority suspects that some people are using DGF to channel money which amounts to money laundering, should Financial Intelligence Authority just look on because this is DGF, because this is SEDU? Want these people, what I said earlier on, the Hula Balola a month ago, wasn't Samachirianga, my brother Richard, the one saying this is DGF.
But now you're throwing
yes. No, but he was quoted in the media saying that even these DGF people are not as clean. They are the ones who have built networks through which they siphon money. Now, are you suggesting that if somebody has flagged FIA that money is DGF is being used as a conduit, it shouldn't investigate? Is that the law? I need to be educated. If you think that is the law.
No. Actually, I'm just saying if you know your work,
yeah.
You can write about NGOs, and you can't get law firms and say let these NGOs be investigated because these are law firms. So you make a distinction.
I agree with you, but I need to verify if because they did not say that all of them are NGOs.
That's what
these are entities.
You haven't read the letter.
You also distinguish form from substance.
Exactly, form from substance. So if you want to go for form, that's okay. But I think we should be dealing with substance. Now, are you saying that because an individual is not named, but somebody is using that individual as a conduit for money laundering, that individual should not be investigated by Financial Intelligence Authority. I don't think that is the intent of the law.
Okay.
And so I think FIA is doing its work. Is it effective? I think it is being effective. That's why Godba is feeling the pressure.
Honorable Nandala, we need to way forward, going forward. Honorable Nandala. Yes.
You know, when I talked about the 5.9 million...
Let's listen to Honorable Nandala. We are running out of time now.
When I talked about the 5 million animals, it means if that was serious, they would have killed all the animals in Uganda, and by now would have no animal.
No cows.
No cows. But they are still there, there are many. But having said that, you see, Auditor General, he audits on behalf of Parliament.
Yes.
And also, listen, and Public Accounts Committee also works on behalf of what? Parliament, because its report has got what? Parliament. So the reports of Parliament, the Parliament can direct an audit anytime and an investigation. Now, under Section 19, the objectives of FIA is even to make public awareness on money laundering and also to share reports of what they are formed with institutions of government which are there. Under Section 35, which I want to help my brother Variomos to know, and you all.
I think we don't know.
I like Mariomos. You know, he was a very intelligent man when I was a backbench. I repeat that. But now...
He's deliberate.
Do you have capacity to measure intelligence?
Yes. Mariomos, at that time when you were standing, you would know an intelligent man. Now when you stand, you twist the truth, the lies to become the truth, and the truth to become what? Lies.
That's also intelligence.
Section 35. Section which
are like the other man who said to plan to steal is in itself intelligence.
That's intelligence people anyway. Section 35, 36 reports to minister and Parliament. The body shall within 3 months. Now what Honorable Komakech was raising, this FI is supposed to produce reports to Parliament. And it says after each financial year, they shall submit annual report of their performance on the matters of the authority. Now, how long has the authority been there? The question is there. But also the interim, you can direct it to have the interim reports. And what Komakech was raising, which I wanted to make or to understand, that it is within the mandate of Parliament that they are entitled to this investigation. And they can call this man, this Sibo and this group to Parliament.
I know we had invited him, except that he was busy with other state duties. He said he's going to come here to explain. No, he's doing his work.
He should have come.
He's a very hardworking young man.
Who tells you?
He's a very hardworking young man.
Please, don't want us to speak things here now. We know these guys. You see that now.
So they are not working.
You see, if they are working, why have they left the Kutesa? This one is a serious issue. A man has been the courts in New York of America have found him guilty. In the Parliament, they are trying to protect him. By Attorney General comes, no, we're carrying out. He asked for a month. You know, they know that Parliament forgets. No.
Why don't you raise it then if you don't forget?
But I'm telling you, they are raising it. Oh, no, we're going to come. And one of those who will jump up will be again my brother Variomos. Instead of allowing the money to be brought up, if it was a back-bench, I would have said, Madam Speaker, or Mr. Speaker, this is an urgent matter. But now, you will come and twist. But what I want to make conclude on.
Conclude.
What I want to bring out, I say that, you see, these cases of financial intelligence, they are free to investigate anybody. And why today I want to say, has talked something of sense, where he said, I agree that they are leaving big fish.
He didn't say that.
Indirectly, you know, when you're intelligent, you can read. You see, they are leaving big fish, they are going for small one. Money laundering is not only the cash being stolen. Even evading taxes is money what? Laundering.
Evading.
Yes, that's criminal. It's invading because you have invaded money which should have been done it, and you have used it to do another thing. That's also meant.
Okay.
Stealing medicine is a crime. So what I wanted to put up with my brother, Wanyomo Swithin, member of cabinet, that when you go to discuss, just ask these people, why is this one doing X and is not being asked any question?
So you want him to ask about a colleague?
Yes. He would ask, then we shall know that they are
that easy?
that working. But now at this time,
Cabinet discussion is a private. How do you not have asked?
no, he has never asked. I know, now they are not public with this technology.
You
What
record-
we are
you record
discussing, we are
what goes-
getting it out. So
Council,
finally.
God back, come in
But finally, which I want to
way
put
forward. Yes.
What I want to say, that you see, an institution like Financial Intelligence Agency, which we all respect, to start behaving like that, it will lose confidence of the public. It will be meant that it has been put there to score what we call, where if you are my enemy, I use my office to fight you. So what is financial intelligence is being used by state people or agencies who are people who are in power to try to see for okay, about democracy, don't talk about it. You are in opposition, don't move there. Well, what? You know what I'm trying to say is that they are being used to fight wars of a certain personal wars of some people in government, including the chief himself.
Okay. Godba, way forward.
No, allow me just
What are you guys going to do? This 13 or 11 or whatever the number.
Let me make like three quick comments.
Yeah, quick ones.
Yeah, one is that I just want Ugandans to know that I think that the banks do absolute due diligence. Because I've been working in civil society for the last over 20 years. And I run organizations that receive grants. And of late, even when you have a grant signed and the donor sends you money, the banks do not only ask you for the grant agreement, they also even ask you for the proposal, which is being funded. So in other words, to that extent, the bank knows the source of the money and even what it is for. So I think that the banks are doing their best in terms of making sure that if these NGOs were doing some suspicious transactions with those funds, my view is that the banks would actually be the first ones to file those reports. Secondly, my own reading is that what we are seeing actually, my view is that because me, I do policy analysis, that's how I earn my living. My reading of this is that there are two ways. One is that people within government, the actual money launderers, are actually trying to divert attention from themselves and basically focus it on NGOs, because I think there has been a consistent narrative that has been perpetuated by government. People say NGOs are the ones which are corrupt, they are now money laundering, and essentially you shift the narrative from the thieving that is going on in government, because now Ugandans are really known, the stealing that goes on in government across the board is immense. The wastage that goes on, people carrying money around the country in sacks and distributing. And I think there is an attempt to divert attention to that. Thirdly, I actually want to, I would even be more lenient to FIA, because I don't think that this investigation is actually an FIA investigation. My view is that this investigation is more about the shadow government within the government. They are shadow people who, so increasingly, institutions like FIA, like Bank of Uganda, like the police, are basically used as instruments of coercion. They no longer do their actual work. So they are shadow people within the government who run more or less like what you call the dark state. They are the ones who use these institutions. So if you are the director of FIA and you don't have the spine, even some small boy or woman will even come and say, I want this information about Greece, about Odongtho. And I think that's where the problem is. I would agree with Nathan and Leandra that for us as citizens, I think that complying with the law is no question. If there is any violation of the law, each one of us, every citizen should be held accountable. But I think Parliament must be able to come in and protect citizens from this kind of harassment where people within the dark state, the shadow government, uses institutions of state to harass citizens.
Okay. Finally, Honorable Baramusi, final take.
First of all, colleagues on this table, some of them are usually very outspoken on the need to fight corruption. But when state agencies go for their organizations, they start crying foul. If we are talking of fighting corruption, then the fight should go to anybody, whether it's small fish or big fish, across the board, including NGOs, including opposition political parties. Secondly, the process in the Ministry of Internal Affairs is different from that in the FIA. And both processes are lawful and are legitimate. The minister is carrying out validation of NGOs. No, the minister. Because
what has he been
some
doing
of the NGOs
this time?
Somebody said NGO can mean non-governmental organization. It can also mean nothing going on. Some NGOs also are NGIs, non-governmental individuals. So there is a need to validate and come up with clear NGOs which are registered, licensed, so that they can be supported to do their work. I do not understand why anybody should be castigating FIA. We, Parliament, are the ones who created this institution to do work. And I don't think these CEDU, DGF, or Greece are exempted from being scrutinized and examined by this FIA. Are we saying that NGOs, for instance, cannot be used or cannot get involved in money laundering?
But
is
that what we said?
Are we saying NGOs cannot be used, for instance, to cause subversion and terrorism? No. So FIA must have reason, must be having reasons why they have called for examination of the accounts and transactions of these agencies. I do not see why anybody should be worried.
Okay.
The talk you are giving here, go and report to FIA and explain. If there is any suspicious transaction they have seen, then you will go and explain it off.
Okay.
And I'm sure they will be able to clear you.
Okay.
So what we need to do is to strengthen Financial Intelligence Authority to be able to have a wider reach and reach out to all these agencies and individuals to curb this money laundering, curb corruption, and all these issues. Not to come here and castigate it when it is doing its work.
No, for us as the media, because this is us media,
Yes.
you people come to help us media discuss.
Yes.
So for us, we shall discuss these issues, which is also
Yes,
one of the...
If they are saying we have reasons
and
to
they have-
examine
and
these
they have
transactions,
open
why should you come here and
They're also
lambast
public,
them?
they're also
Lambast-
public
No,
agencies.
it is also a public agency
Yes.
that must also be shown light on, must also be, attended to, and must also be discussed, because there should be no organization that is beyond discussions
Absolutely.
in a democracy.
And
Yes.
why should we fear to discuss financial intelligence?
Why? Yeah.
And Parliament should
But why
also,
should you
and Parliament
lambast
should
them?
also question. Parliament should also question it, so that we don't build a situation like almost Bank of Uganda had reached, of almost thinking for it cannot be even investigated, it cannot be inquired into by Parliament, and yet Parliament is a
Nobody has
people's
said so. But if they
institution.
say we have picked these institutions, we want to examine this, why should you lambast
Okay,
them?
No, we have-
that
no.
voice you're hearing, that face is the face of the Honorable Minister, Dr. Chris Baramusi is in charge of housing, and
better
next
make
to
him
him
Minister of
on the
Finance.
left is Mr. Opondo Opondo.
Are we not making us somebody?
No, you did. I started with you.
no.
You did. Honorable Leandro Komaket, Council for the Minister, the Honorable Kandala Mafabi.
I didn't know that you are using government protocol.
I remain the minister even when I
Thank you so much. Until next week. Goodbye. God bless you all.